Hi, I'm Brandon Goodwin. Welcome to Volume 1 of the Video Coach Shooter's Guide, Fundamentals. The Shooter's Guide is here to teach you how to shoot like a video journalist. We've broken this task down into 3 volumes. In Volume 1, the one you're watching right now, you'll learn the basics of video production. In Volume 2, you will learn how to shoot and light interviews. And then in Volume 3, you'll learn some more advanced tricks that the professionals use for shooting great B-roll. The goal by the end of these 3 volumes is to get you shooting your very own news packages and stories. Here's what we mean by a news package.
We are a classic 1980s style arcade. Got about 50, 60 stand-up video games, about 7 pinball machines.
I'm here in 1984, our local arcade. I'm revisiting my childhood.
Basically seeing people come in with their mouths open with a stunned look of joy on their faces. It's like, I haven't seen this in 20 years. This is the coolest place I've ever seen in my life.
This simple 45-second story is made up of 2 parts, sound bites and B-roll. Here's a soundbite from the story.
Got about 50, 60 stand-up video games, about 7 pinball machines.
A soundbite is just a little piece of an interview that you're going to use in your story. There's over 10 minutes of this guy talking in the raw footage, but we only ended up using a snippet that best summarized what he was saying, and that's called a soundbite. The second part of this package is called B-roll. Here's some raw B-roll from the story. B-roll is just the footage of whatever you're covering. So if you're going to cover the local arcade, you'd want to shoot an interview.
Got about 50, 60 stand-up video games, about 7 pinball machines.
Shoot some B-roll. And then take these 2 elements into your editing software where you could pull out some sound bites, cover it with B-roll, and mix it around until it makes sense as a story.
Got about 50, 60 stand-up video games, about 7 pinball machines.
Stories can also have voiceovers, reporter stand-ups, graphics and animation, and all these things are great, and we'll cover them in depth in future volumes. But sound bites and B-roll are really the best place to start. These 2 elements are the core of broadcast stories and packages. Here's what you have to look forward to in Volume 1. In Chapter 1, we'll cover all the equipment you'll need to produce stories. Chapter 2 is all about wide, medium, and tight shots. In Chapter 3, we'll learn how to build sequences. In Chapter 4, we'll talk about composition, and we'll touch a little bit on lighting and depth. And finally, in Chapter 5, we'll talk about the top 10 things that every video journalist should know how to do, or in some cases, what not to do. A lot of these concepts can be carried over into all forms of video production, whether you're shooting news stories, documentaries, short films, weddings, commercials, or even home movies. So while Volumes 2 and 3 are specifically for video journalists, Volume 1 is pretty useful across the board.